So I got laid off.
And that's how we were forced to retire early in our 30s. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Angie, and this is our new chapter, Life After Fire.
This is our first video in this new chapter, and we want to share who we are, how we got here, and what life after fire is looking like.
So FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. We started our FIRE journey back in 2019 and just recently hit our freedom number this summer. So it took about 6 years.
And during that time, we shared all our learning, lessons, and experiments in our Stroll to Freedom newsletter. You can check that out if you're interested.
We called it a stroll and not a sprint because we didn't want to sacrifice the present for an uncertain future. And it's just more fun to stroll towards something instead of racing.
Okay, and so besides the pandemic years, for the past 3 years, we've been traveling about 6 months out of the year. And that location independence is really important for us, and it really changed the way we think about money.
And think we still stroll into freedom, but step into a new phase, life after fire. Now we're learning how to use and protect our freedom. So as the title says, early retirement was exactly the plan. I lost my job.
And I'd already left my W-2 job about 2 years before to focus on managing our rental properties. Since we had already reached a number that we were comfortable with for FIRE, now that Angie was laid off, we decided to officially start the FIRE life.
But this transition to FIRE, nobody could really prepare me for this. Emotionally, mentally, and philosophically, on top of processing my job loss, now I have to think about what retirement means to me at 35.
So in the FIRE community, there's a phrase people sometimes use, like one more year syndrome. And that's basically when people delay pulling that trigger, even if you've already reached a number that you're comfortable with to consider financially independent. And I mean, oftentimes it's probably because people want a bigger safety net.
Other times, they just don't know what they want to do after retirement, myself included. This is the hardest part for me. For years, I knew exactly what I wanted to retire from, but I seem to never really have figured out what I want to retire to.
And yeah, that sounds like a good problem to have, and it definitely is. But at the same time, it is a little more psychologically difficult and interesting than you may think.
Yeah, over the past 3 years, I've been trying different projects, experimenting with ideas, and simply preparing for the FIRE life. But between work, traveling, and hobbies, I just didn't have enough mental space to really deeply reflect on it. And that's something I didn't have enough when I was working. And that's why I keep delaying those questions. There are a few surprises that we found after early retirement. For me, I have been unlearning the habits built throughout almost a decade of working.
And for me, my immediate goal was to pretty furiously dial in our post-FIRE financial strategy. Because yeah, it was almost surprising how much, from a financial perspective, hitting that FIRE number and pulling the trigger is not the finish line. It's the beginning of whole new strategies that we'll go into in future videos.
Yeah, that's a lot of math. And I used to think that once you have your freedom number, your liquid net worth, your spending post-tax amount, your growth strategies, you're probably good to start your FIRE. But that was just the tip of the iceberg.
Especially in today's economic climate, like if you follow the market, there's a lot of signals of overvaluation or a potential recession. This is as of 2025 or late 2025. Because of that, those signals of overvaluation, it's actually can be a really risky time to start FIRE. So why are we sharing about life after FIRE? It feels to us that it's so common to see people talking about how do you reach FIRE? What are strategies for getting there? But there's not as much content on what happens after.
Yeah, it seems like everybody disappeared from the earth after they went FIRE. It's just a lot to process. A lot of psychological shifts, identity changes, and new routines and practical things that we need to do for our finance.
And so if you're going through something similar or just curious, we hope that this will help you feel less alone.
If you're on the fence of retiring early, maybe this gives you a clearer look at the transition, the good, the hard, and the unexpected.
And we're still figuring everything out, but one thing's for certain, freedom is a very sweet fruit.
Yeah, it takes time to redefine what freedom means to you and to rebuild your sense of purpose. And by the way, if you want to learn how we set up our financial systems, especially our investment, to get to financial freedom, check out this video.
And so if this video helped you, please hit subscribe. There'll be many more in the coming months, and it'll help the algorithm share it with more people who it may help.
Thanks for watching, and we see you in the next episode of our Life After Fire. Bye for now.